Hello, Dr. Manish.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. नमस्कार नमस्कार.
Uh,
अब आप कैरी ऑन कर सकते
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Uh, I welcome our second keynote speaker for the day, respected Professor B.N. Mishra, sir, from Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow. Professor B.N. Mishra, sir, is Professor of Biotechnology at Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow, and Dean of Research and Development and Industrial Consultancy at Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. He has research interest in bioreactor engineering for metabolites production and waste management, 3D bioprinting, and microfluidic devices, and bioinformatics also. He has published more than 100 research articles in the reputed journals. He has supervised more than 200 MTech and 14 PhD theses and mentored 4 postdoc students. His research contributions were covered by the media. He is an elected life member of the National Academy of Sciences, India, Prayagraj. He has been a member of core group of biotechnology, Council of Science and Technology, UP, India for nearly a decade. He has received many honors, awards, including the Vishisht Samman for outstanding research and development work in the area of environment in 2010. Excellence in the Innovation in Technical Education Award 2014 and Outstanding Contribution in Education Award in 2015. One more thing to add to his credentials, that I'm among one of his fortunate students. So I request Professor B.N. Mishra sir to take on the session from here onwards. Respected sir.
थैंक यू मनीष जी. बहुत बहुत नमस्कार. और सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा आपको, आपके निदेशक मैडम को और इंस्टीट्यूट को मुझे इनवाइट करने के लिए. मैं क्षमा प्रार्थी हूँ, मुझे थोड़ा सा विलम्ब हुआ. ये कई बार ऑनलाइन में ना टेक्निकल ग्लिचेज होते हैं, उनको सॉर्ट आउट करने में. और आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स इन दिस इवेंट. मैं अपना स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकता हूँ?
यस सर.
स्वागत है सर. नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार नमस्कार डॉक्टर साहब. मैं बस यही देख रहा था कि डॉक्टर साहब से मुलाकात हो. हम लोग आजकल ऑनलाइन ही मिल पा रहे हैं.
हाँ सर. चलिए सर, ऑनलाइन ही मिल पा रहे हैं, ये भी कम से कम एक अच्छी बात है. इतनी सुविधा है हम लोगों के पास.
एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली.
ठीक
मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकूं, जिससे कि मैं प्रेजेंटेशन को आगे ले सकूं.
ओके ओके.
ये स्क्रीन शेयर करने के लिए आ रहा हाफ डिसेबल्ड पार्टिसिपेंट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग. इसको इनेबल करना होगा डॉक्टर मनीष साहब.
सर यहाँ से इनेबल कर दिया है. एक बार सर आप
स्क्रीन दिख रही है डॉक्टर मनीष साहब?
Sir, screen is very clear and you are audible.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much,
sir.
In fact, at present, if you see that waste management is really a big issue, and I have tried to make an effort to express my views on exploring 3D bioprinting solutions to overcome waste management challenges posed by COVID-19. We are already aware that waste management is a problem globally, and so far we are trying to evolve number of approaches to have a proper waste management. And recent outbreak of COVID-19, that has really added the challenges. People from different walk of life and different field, they are making effort to bring out suitable solutions for waste management. Since it's a biotechnology approach that I'm supposed to discuss, I thought I must express my views that how we can make use of 3D printing and 3D bioprinting. Although it's just a new area, many one have just familiar with printing the Word document in a printer. They might not be aware how it is 3D printing and 3D bioprinting. Of course, so there is a lot of news about 3D printing and 3D bioprinting that is there in past decade, as well as the curiosity of mankind for getting human organs available for transplantation. That is one thing most of the people through media know about how 3D bioprinting or 3D printing plays a role in biotechnology. In today's talk, I have a brief discussion that is starting from West, whether it is a boon or bane, because it could be both. Uh, what are the challenges posed by COVID-19 West? What are the current strategies of waste management, 3D printing, and then discussing about 3D bioprinting, how we can have solutions for the current waste management problems. Since there could be a number of participants that would be from student side, and I have also discussed about career opportunity, as well as there will be opportunity to have some discussions on positions. West boon or bane, I would just tell that it is just a matter of what type of approaches we adopt. West could be, in one perspective, can be considered if we are generating more West, it means it is an indicator of prosperity. If you are able to make utilization of West in get fully products, or if you can get fully utilize the West in a number of purposes, then it could be a boon because it indicates for prosperity. But if you are unable to manage it properly, obviously it is a bane. And I think there are some situations where West are generated beyond our own will, like the case of COVID-19, where we are using masks without our own will. Now, what type of COVID-19 West are there? We all are aware that using PPE kit, that includes even a mask, that includes even gloves, and there is so many things that is at present happening that present a larger picture that how this has aided the challenge of solid waste as well as wastewater challenges. Now, how at present COVID-19 waste is being handled, that just giving a outline. In fact, COVID-19, we all are aware that it's a novel coronavirus, and it has posed the novel problems. If we all recall, the vitamins, minerals, and supplements, nutrient supplements, what we have used in past 1.5 years, perhaps we have not used it in past 1 decade. Hence, even the hand sanitizer that we have used in past 1.5 years, I think that we would have not used even in the past 1 decade. Hence, there are a lot of wrappers of medicines, a lot of the sanitizer bottles, gloves, uh, even face masks, and other PPE kits. These all collectively has posed additional burden on the existing solid and wastewater. Why I'm talking about wastewater? Because even solid waste that contributes to the wastewater, because during the rainy season, the chemical that is accumulated with the solid waste that percolates to and find a path to the water body, and ultimately it becomes the wastewater too. Hence, this has really created a new challenge for waste management, both solid waste and liquid waste. Hence, we need to see that what could be the possible way to deal with such scenario. If you find that the general waste collection approaches, what we find that we can categorize, we can have better practices of waste categorization and collection, and then transporting it to the suitable sites where they can be done. These could be the way how we can segregate the various waste types. But this could be some example which can be shown on PPT, but in the real practice, if you see, this doesn't happen most of the times. People used to mix the waste types, and even many times the collection, transportation, as well as their disposal is a big challenge. And it is not just linked with the India, it is across the globe. As we have to come out with a holistic perspective that what could be the way out that the waste can be made, converted to the useful products, as well as we can minimize the hazards of the waste to the human health as well as animal health. Nowadays, even I find that many birds they are using the PP kits to develop their nest. बहुत सारे ऐसे भी एनिमल या पंछी हैं जो कि इसको लेके पंछी लेके उड़ जाते हैं. देयर आर नंबर ऑफ बर्ड्स दे फ्लाई विद दिस. They put these at various places since they could be the source of infections. Hence, this is again going to be a bigger cause even in spreading the COVID-19. We are already facing a lot of challenge of strains of COVID-19, like at moment Delta strain that is supposed to even have apprehension of bringing a third wave of COVID-19. Hence, the number of alpha, beta, gamma challenges and delta challenges of COVID-19, and we never know that what new mutation are waiting to come in times. Hence, we have to have a long-term policy that how we can deal with such a situation. If you, I'm not going here to talk really the statistics of waste management, and also not the various technology being at presently employed for this purpose, because I think many renowned speakers in this FDP, they are going to talk on number of topics, and some things have already been covered. Even out of various solid waste, plastic waste is another big concern, and microplastics are the component that has been taken into consideration how they can be treated. Hence, there are anaerobic biodegradation and aerobic biodegradation. Two are the basic approaches that people are trying to explore at this moment. But these two approaches, aerobic biodegradation and anaerobic biodegradation, they are the real approaches for even the waste beyond plastics, that is the food waste, the municipal solid waste. You are the industrial waste, even industrial waste, you can have the both ways of doing, like in distillery waste, you are treating with anaerobic manner to generate methane. But obviously, methane can only be produced or can be produced or waste can be degraded to anaerobic bacteria if you have got a precursor for methanogenic bacteria to eat. Hence, obviously, you require acid that means soluble organics that has to be converted to your acetic acid to aerobic bacteria, and then you work on methanogen bacteria to convert those acetic acid into methane and CO2. Hence, there could be a combined culture of aerobic as well as anaerobic bacteria if the scene used to be in case of distillery wastewater. But the trickling filters, they could be the example of aerobic biodegradation in packed bed bioreactors or trickling bed bioreactors. But in case of anaerobic bed bioreactors, you again can have a packed bed bioreactor. Or there are a number of other approaches that are being used. Hence, plastics has been attempted in a number of ways. I will be discussing later in this talk. But we have a limited approach so far to achieve how exactly we have got a win over this particular problem, because plastics are the biggest challenge as on date we are facing with managing the solid waste management. How we can make the use of 3D printing technology for waste management. And first, I would like to talk about what 3D printing is all about. We all are aware about our office printer, where we have a document in the Word, MS Word, and we print it on a sheet of A4 paper. This we can consider a 2D printing. That's the two-dimension printing on a sheet of paper. But obviously, if you want to develop a configuration of 3 dimension, obviously you require something similar that ink, but that ink should be able to develop a 3-dimensional structure that is not done in a MS Word document printing on a sheet of A4 paper. And for that that purpose, we have got in past, I think in past 20 years, and especially in past decade, there has been more research. And in the recent, I think 4 or 5 years, this research has taken new momentum because 3D printing has got applications in various domains. And so what happens? We need to have a ink. That ink need to print a configuration in 3-dimensional architecture, layer by layer, to generate a predefined 3-dimensional structure of anything what you feel like to do. For that purpose, we develop a design of 3 dimensions in the computer with the help of some software, maybe a CAD/CAM designing software. And from that, the STL file, that name has come from stereolithography. That STL file is sent to the 3D printer, and 3D, after getting that command, 3D printer uses the ink. This ink could be your plastic wires, it could be wood, it could be metal, depending on the requirement. In general purpose, and it develops the 3D structure. The 3D structures could be a sort of scaffold, or it could be making the part of different machinery. It could be made developing the part of your aeroplanes. It could be developing the part of building materials. It could be anything that is possible. But of course, once we are linked with the 3D bioprinting application in waste management, we look at the type of waste, that is the plastic waste, sewage waste, wastewater, as well as the food waste. Hence, how this technology will be used in these domains, that I will be making an effort to express my views on that. Now, 3D printing of 3D printing for food waste. If you see across the globe, 50% food what we use, or food what we use, 50% of that gets wasted. Even there is a lot of waste of materials that make the food in the supply chain, because tomato of one state is transported to other state. Some vegetable of one state is transported to other state. Hence, we have a long transportation chain, and supply chain is really longer. Obviously, we have to keep storage of these things for a long time before it is distributed or sold to the people. Hence, this again becomes a source of generating waste. Even during the kitchen, if you see, in making the food in kitchen, you have to make a lot of operations like cleaning the vegetables and putting the vegetables into the small piece. There's a lot of waste get generated. How these waste can be made use? This 3D printing has a application that twofold. One fold that it makes number of food dishes utilizing very small number of ingredients, hence reducing the waste at source. Secondly, it can convert the waste of the kitchen to useful new snacks or new food that is possible. Even the waste food materials can be used to print packaging materials that will be used to store those printed food materials to supply. And there could be many more possibilities are there. Even the printers have ability to make designer foods. You can design the shape and size of your food. You can add taste. You can add nutrients. You can do as you feel like. You can develop the food which is good for older people, patients, and you can have a 3D printed food that is available for travel or even in various other missions or military. It is just to name, it is limitless at this moment. And sources are obviously for this all like very sustainable. These all approaches have potential of green technology. They have potential of economic sustainability. They have potential of environmental sustainability, as well as your social sustainability. Hence, socio-economic development too they support. Of course, there are challenges of adopting the new food. And nowadays, you might have heard that there is a possibility that without slaughtering the animals, you can print meat. You can have meat tissue that could be good from the stem cells. Hence, there is a number of possibilities. But of course, reducing the waste at source, making use of food waste into gainfully utilizable products, as well as you are beyond making new food products, you can have many other applications too. We have got a number of applications of this 3D printing technology in wastewater treatment. You can have designed filters. The designed filters can have ability to have better filtration due to newer design or novel design of membrane supports. And so they are now newer approach of trying, testing, and adopting it to the large scale. As this is the testing time for 3D printing, but I'm very optimistic that these approaches are going to make a difference and revolutionize the wastewater treatment approaches. Even you can make use of 3D printed scaffold for degrading the antibiotic pollutant that is basically coming out from pharmaceutical industry. Hence, 3D printing is again going to play a very important role in this direction. And few researchers have recently reported applications for degradation of some antibiotic pollutants. Now I'm coming to the 3D bioprinting. How 3D bioprinting can make a difference in meeting the challenge of waste at this moment, and how the 3D bioprinters look like. In past 10 years, there has been a tremendous development in developing or making the transformation of 3D printing equipment to bioprinting. These bioprinters have got a different print heads, and the print heads are capable to print live bacterial cells, plant cells, animal cells in connection with the help of compatible biopolymers, cross-linkers, and these living systems with the cross-linker and compatible biomaterials. They are called the bioink, and the bioink are layered as per defined configuration that is supported by your computer to deliver to a defined configuration where cell can be entrapped. Hence, there could be a printer has got a number of print heads, means he's starting from one to even up to I think 8 or 9 print heads are possible. Means these are basically revolutionized the way we look at the biology research, the way we look at even the treatment of the waste. Of course, the approaches are novel, but the challenge posed by COVID-19 uh, in dealing with the waste management. Obviously, again, a novel challenge because none of us want to eat the medicines like vitamins and iron and other nutrients that we could not do in past 1 decade, just in past 1 year. Even we are living a life like most of the times wearing masks, gloves, and even doctors using PPE kits. Uh, that obviously made the life difficult. Hence, we need novel solutions too. We have already known a lot about many bacterial strains. They have applications in degrading uh, various type of waste. It could be solid waste, it could be wastewater. Even they have applications in stabilizing your heavy metals. We know various plants. The plants have ability to stabilize the heavy metals. Even plants have ability to grow on the microplastics. Some constituents they can use as their feed. And so these have reflected some ability that how we can take forward our journey to use the 3D bioprinting approaches for dealing with the waste management challenges of COVID-19. And so what I'm just discussing, I'm trying to explore that how it can be happen. So far, we could know only that the bacteria that always remains in a two-dimensional configuration. We use bacteria in either petri plate, in slime culture, or in the conical flask, or in the fermenter. Hence, uh, their real working in a three-dimensional space are how what difference they can make once they are in the three-dimensional configuration, how their spatial changes that would make impact on their functionality. These are the things that is really revolutionizing the world community to look at different way. Even if I talk about the plastic waste, you see the bacteria which remains in the gut of human being, that especially live in a very severe conditions. Those bacteria who are in such a severe conditions, they have been known to find applications even degrading the microplastics or plastic constituents. Hence, they have shown some new light that how we can make use of these bacterial populations. But the challenge is that once you take those bacteria and again just you start using it after some time, their strain changes. Hence, until unless we put the bacteria in a three-dimensional uh, native structure, where with the due course of time their strain does not change, I think that can make a lot of difference. We know the nature's property that plant and microbes, they live together. A plant has got microbes at its leaves, its stem, its roots. Microbes can be at the surface of these organs. They can be inside. Hence, you have endophytic and epiphytic microbes. They develop pathogenic as well as beneficial associations. And while interacting, they basically alter the biological process of both the systems. They sometimes help each other, and sometimes even they repel each other. We know that approach like the small RNA released by plants, they in fact silence the virulence of pathogens. And in a similar manner, some pathogen might release the small RNA through its external vesicles, and it can silence a defense system of plant. As that again is possible. Nutrient transfer, chemical communications, and there are a number of activities are the way plant uh, grow, they maintain their stability and their development of various organs through the development of cell and tissue. This is all helped or mediated by microorganisms. Hence, we have a tremendous possibility how we can use the natural property of plant microbe interaction, or I could say the general host microbe interaction that might include both the interaction of microbes in human gut as well as interaction of microbes with the plant. These two properties, with the help of 3D bioprinting, that could be novel approach to look at how 3D bioprinting can play a role in treating the wastewater, solid waste, and even we can make attempt to stabilize plastic waste. There are a number of heavy metals that are accumulated by plants, and they finally in the form of nanoparticles. Hence, if we club the nano technology approach, 3D printing approach, or 3D bioprinting approach using plant and microbes, and taking the approach of plant microbe interaction and gut microbe interaction, I think we can come out with some solutions that might help us to deal with these things. I think some of the things I will be talking at this moment, you will be hearing first time, because uh, some of the approaches like printing plant cells, that is all the way new. We are the first group that given the concept of 3D bioprinting of plant cells first time to the scientific community. And we envisage that 3D printed plant cells, they could come out with a number of applications like in tomorrow's time, perhaps you may not require wooden furnitures. You can 3D print the furniture and you are done. Even all the industries which are based on biomass, you can create the tissue of plant cells, and they could work for these industries as a raw material. You can use the tissue for industry based on biomass. These 3D bioprinted plant cells, they can be used for developing novel biomaterials. They can be great use in bioremediation as well as generating bio energy. You can have systems like developing secondary metabolites and ultimately leading to a number of medicines, nutraceuticals. Hence, you have a tremendous application. But if you are capable enough to print microbial cells with the plant cells in three-dimensional configuration, how microbes and plant cells remain in a real plant, I think that could be a magic, because you will be able to exploit the property of natural plant system or native plant system to stabilize the waste. If you see, there are a number of phytoremediation approach for treating the waste. But if you see, in the phytoremediations, we are using the grown up plants. Can we think of such a situation where we do not require that much large land for growing plants? We can have plant cells and microbial cells. We through the 3D bioprinter, we can develop them in a 3D three-dimensional structure, and they can be used for bioremediation. In that case, what will be the advantage? That in a short space, you can have a cascade of membranes holding the tissues, and you can have a treatment. Hence, you are able to add value, delivering more and exploring better ways. Even with the newer technology of genome editing, you are able to develop new plant variety. You can silence a gene. You can develop new traits. Hence, all these things are going to create even a new microbial community, new microbial species. Hence, the association of plant and microbes that you can alter to the need of bioremediation of various waste types. Hence, these are the new approaches that really need to be explored. I think work on these areas has just begun, and the new researchers or scientists who might be looking at the career growth in this domain, I think it's a great opportunity to come from the traditional or the basic applications of 3D printing to the applying 3D printing to the applications of biotechnology, where we can really make use of microbial cells as well as plant cells to develop useful things. And this could be a different way to deal with these approaches. Now, I'm coming next to that. This is, as I understand, I'm just expressing my huge views to a number of students who are available over here. And they would be taking advantage in their life. Their interest would be how we can make use of this 3D bioprinting to our career path. Hence, what I feel that with that you can have two basic things, that are skill and knowledge. You have to create the skill and knowledge, and skill, obviously, you will provide you communication skill, presentation, team building. You execute it. Your all the assignments, whatever you get workmanship and perfection. Ultimate. Develop expertise with your newer skills. Say, for example, in the area of 3D bioprinting, make development, improve yourself, and the knowledge that provides you the technology age and leadership. You will get, you can do number of innovations, get self-reliance, and ultimately reach to the sustainability or self-sustainability and live, get awareness, aware people, and bring change to the society. Hence, nurture your skill and knowledge to become a global competitor. And I think that's the way you can be globally competitive. Now, how 3D bioprinting can lead to generate various values in you or various type of functionality that can be important for your career path. You can lead to scientific excellence because it's a new technology. Globally, people are trying to make a step further in that area. I think it's the right time for India to take it forward, prepare the manpower because we do not have trained manpower in the area of 3D bioprinting. Most of the people are not aware how 3D printing uh, has applications in biotechnology. Hence, we need to larger talent pool to take the advantage of this approach and take the India to become a global power in technology. Uh, this will lead to create people specific to industry requirement. You will get a problem solving capability. You can experiment based on your ideas, develop your knowledge. Researchers can do a better research. They can create new knowledge, knowledge sharing, technology development could lead to developing newer product process. You can bring nuance of technology, and this sort of innovation can lead to finally new business incubators, startups, new products, and even it has potential to come out with a new market. It has a disruptive approach of technology that will ultimately lead to development of employability. Hence, that is all about my view, expressing views. I'm not an expert of waste management, but I thought it would be a great platform to share my ideas how 3D bioprinting could be approach to explore new solutions, bring new ideas, and take advantage to deal with the challenges of novel coronavirus uh, that has put a new challenge of our existing waste management process. Manish ji, I think it's open for questions.
Yes, sir, definitely. Sir, thank you so much for a very novel topic session. And now, dear participants, if you have any questions or query, you can ask one by one to the sir.
I can stop sharing this slide.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Thank
Dear,
you. Thank you.
dear participants, if you have any query or question, you can ask one by one.
I'm happy to see there are around 70 participants at this moment.
Yes, sir. Around 70 participants are there.
Okay, that's really great.
Dear participants, if you have any query, you can ask one by one. Am I audible? Dear participants, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay.
सर क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में अवेलेबल है सर.
Okay.
Okay. The first question is, please correct me if I have missed anything. No, it is not the first. I have some note.
Sir, the question is, can we design a membrane by using waste material with a 3D printing for dye degradation?
In principle, it is possible. Only thing that once you develop a membrane from a waste material and you are going to use microbes for degradation of dye, these microbes might be able to even degrade some of the waste material too. Hence, you have to see that what waste material you are trying to integrate. But in principle, it is yes, it is possible because there are number of membranes that is at moment people are trying to develop through waste material. Hence, it is always possible to make it. Please feel free to pose any question because my discussion on this topic was on some thought. I know that on this area, especially 3D bioprinting for bioremediation, no work has been done on this area as such. Hence, I wanted just to evolve a discussion with participants so that we should be able to explore these possibilities because I'm very sure that they are going to make a difference in times to come.
Any more questions? Dear participants, any more questions? You can unmute yourself.
I will tell you one more thing. In the mean, somebody think of asking a question. Even once you construct either membrane from animal cells or tissue from plants, either single variety of cells, or even you have a co-culture. These constructs are tissues. You can name them organoids. They can be self-replicating. You can develop them, or you can 3D print them. You can put them in ELISA 96 plate well. You can incubate them in some chamber. You can see the different type of interaction activity, that how microbes interact with your intestine, how microbes interact with your plant organs. You can have even a number of organoids. You can connect them in a microfluidic device. And you can have a human on chip. You can have a plant on chip. Even you can further think of and you can make these microfluidic device as a future bioreactors for treating bio waste. You can think of using these as a bioreactor for developing a number of metabolites and newer products. It has got unlimited possibility. It just requires a novel idea to work on it. Please, if you have some more questions.
Sir, can we depolymerize plastic by 3D bioprinting?
Cannot depolymerize by 3D bioprinting as such. But of course, 3D bioprinting can help you as a you can say as a system where you can have a polymerizing agents interact. For example, why I talked about 3D bioprinting applications for solid waste management. I know that plastics has got a surface edge. Microbes has the ability to make biofilms. They can attach to the surface of plastic. They can make biofilm, and then in due course they can stabilize it. And stabilization ultimately lead to your water and CO2. Yes, there is one question always comes. People say that the pathogenic or the highly resistant microbes, they used to act on plastics. Well, but we have got nowadays genome editing techniques, and these techniques can be suitable to silence those pathogenesis which is going to harm your plant or humans. Hence, you can take the advantage of this genome editing technology based on CRISPR-Cas9, and you can do it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for such a very informative and knowledgeful talk. 3D printing or bioprinting, though is being used for the many purposes, but it has not much been explored for waste management. Sir, your talk of today will open the doors among the young scholars like us to explore the potential of the using 3D bioprinting technique for developing effective and sustainable waste management and strategies. Again, thank you very much, sir, for your precious time. And we all are always, and on behalf of Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Technology for Handicapped, we are very thankful to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Manish ji. Thank you so much, and I'm thankful to your director and all the participants. और मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा आज बात करके आप लोगों से. थैंक यू सो मच.
हाँ, थैंक यू, सर.
मैं इजाजत लूं, मैं लॉग आउट कर सकता हूं, डॉक्टर मनीष?
Sir.
ओके, थैंक यू. नमस्कार.
Dear participants, now we will have a lunch break till 3 p.m. The session 3 for the day will start sharp at 3 p.m. Therefore, I request all the participants to join the session at sharp 3 p.m. Thank you very much.